Let's talk about how to have more impactful cash flow conversations with clients. Now, you need to keep in mind again that the client values the cash flow forecast itself, the end finished product, as well as the dialogue around what happens on the back end of the cash flow forecasting process. You can spend an absurd amount of time on the front end actually building the forecast itself, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. What the client values the most, or more so, much more so, is that end finished product. So that's really important for us as practitioners to remember, because we truly need to make sure the client understands everything that we're talking about in order to maximize their value. And so getting there and getting their understanding is extremely important. Now, knowing that, we also need to keep in mind that we need to speak on their terms. The more that we can get them to understand, the better that we are. And so utilizing things like spreadsheets or table-based cash flow forecasts really goes counter to what we're trying to do. We've talked about this a lot in Helm. Clients come to you, the financial professional, because you are the number person, not them. They understand their business. They understand their widgets. They understand their services. They're not necessarily experts in terms of the financial realm. It's not that they don't understand their business or the numbers. They just don't understand them as well as you. And so we as practitioners tend to build things the way that we understand them, which is more table-based, spreadsheet-like forecasts. And unfortunately, most people in this world are visual-based learners, and spreadsheets and tables are not that. So more often than not, our clients don't understand what we're presenting them. So the key piece to really driving an impactful cash flow conversation is to present them information visual, more presentation style. The numbers and the data are obviously important. Accuracy is super key, but trying to present it in a visual, easily digestible format is super important. So let's walk through exactly what that might look like. So here we've opened up a cash flow forecast within Helm. You can see that it's built a lot different than obviously spreadsheets, but also other tools and apps out there. And we've done that because people do learn visually. They really do need information presented to them as opposed to just put in front of them as a table or a grid. And so the top of the graph, you can see your cash balance over time. That's exactly where your bank account's going to be at any day that you hover over. It's extremely intuitive. As it's going up, your bank balance is going up, and as it's going down, it's going down. Now, at the bottom of the page, you can see what we call the transaction graph. And this has all of your transactions in your cash flow forecast, all ins and outs represented as bars. The bigger the bar, the bigger the number. And that's easily digestible by your client. That's extremely easy for them to understand. And what that enables us to do as practitioners is say, where should I spend the most effort? In this case, I can see that our ongoing recurring inflows are around $1,294. What I also can see is that our biggest outflows are in advertising at $477.58. So now if I was looking to help this company cut costs, I could easily be able to tell them, based off of $1,300 roughly dollars in sales, an average spend on advertising of around $500 seems really excessive. So I can easily change and highlight that for them by doing something as simple as updating the color. You can now easily see it in the graph, and we can easily talk about it and dialogue about it more. Now, another useful function would be to say, well, what if we wanted to decrease these advertising costs? Here, I can simply create a scenario that says lower advertising costs, and I can show our client exactly what their life would look like if we lowered them. So here we've got the $477. Let's just change that to $200. So with that simple change in little under probably a minute, we can easily see our advertising costs are a much lower proportion of our overall spend. The bar is smaller. It's very easy to understand. And we can also see now that with our lower advertising costs scenario, or what if, we can see just how different our bank balance will be over time. So I can literally tell this client, going to save $200-ish on your advertising spend. You will be able to put around $1,400 more in your bank account at the end of 6 months. That's exactly what your client wants to hear from a cash flow conversation, is something very succinct, direct, and immediate, and something that they can act on right away. It makes your conversation much more impactful, which drives everybody's value. Client gets a lot more out of it, as do you, practitioner.